All right. Hey team, welcome to our Wednesday night call. It is Wednesday, obviously, May 17th, and for tonight's series, sorry, I have this like retainer thing, so it's a little weird, bear with me, of I Am Team Beachbody. I will actually be talking tonight. Some of you may know my story, some of you may not know my story, but after the struggle that I had last month, I felt like this was a perfect time for me to be the person to talk. And whatnot. But before that starts, a couple of quick announcements. You versus 2, I don't really know what it's supposed to be called, that launched yesterday, guys. It may not be your cup of tea. It's not my cup of tea, but it could be anybody else's cup of tea. So just because it's not yours doesn't mean you shouldn't be sharing about it. I know a lot of pregnant people will really be drawn to this program because it's very low impact. It doesn't require much. It's fast moving type of one. So I will be promoting it that way. It's very 80s music, which other people like. Like I said, it's just low impact. So just because it won't fit you, try to at least do one workout. It's on Beachbody On Demand, all access. You don't have to pay to buy it. And if you don't have the Beachbody On Demand, all access, make sure you're upgrading because you're actually spending more money in the year by not doing the all access. By doing the $40 payment is actually going to cost you a lot more by the end of the year. So if you haven't switched to that, do that. But definitely make sure you guys are talking about it. Second announcement is the new Shanti week. The way that Beachbody is promoting it, they're doing the 3-day refresh 3 days prior and then leading into the Shanti week. I've seen a couple different coaches post about it. I'm sure it's on the Beachbody Champions page. So make sure that you check that out and get all the information, and then that'll kind of lead you guys to Summit, and then Shift Shop gets released at Summit, and the results are unbelievable. My success partner is actually in, the test group, and she's got nothing but great things to say about it. It's a 3-week program, really great, awesome food plan, so I will probably have her come on a lot closer when it gets closer to talk about that. I think those were the only announcements that I had. I feel like there was probably another announcement. That's probably it. If I think of something, I'll let you guys know. So I'm going to dive straight in and start chatting with you guys. So the purpose of these calls, and I'm going to turn my phone over because people are going to blow it up because I already have a notification. But the purpose of doing these calls is not to give you guys business tips. You guys should be listening to the National Wake Up Call every single week. You should be doing trainings on YouTube, the trainings in the Coach Online Office. It's just really to share about me or whoever's on, why they became a Beachbody coach, the struggles that they've had, where they were before, where they're at now, and why we haven't left. And for me, I've been here the longest. I've been a coach for 4.5 years now, which is just insane to think it's been that long because it doesn't seem that long. But before I got started with Beachbody, so I don't know if you guys know this, I have a bachelor's degree in human services. We'll call it social work because nobody ever knows what human services is. And I went to school for nearly 5 years to get that degree. I didn't graduate until, I don't even know how old I was because I just got married. Maybe 24, maybe 25, maybe 26. One of those. I think it was 26. That sounds right. So it took me a long time to figure out what I wanted to do. But even at the end of my degree, I didn't want to use it. I got really burnt out my final semester. I got stuck at an internship with a population that I did not want to work with. Population's like a group of people like specialized under one umbrella basically. And it just burnt me out when I was like, well, I guess I'm not using my degree. And I didn't. I haven't used my degree since then. So happy to have student loans and never use that bad boy. And instead of going inside, I went into retail management. We moved to Rochester, New York, and that's what I decided to do. And I thought I would love it, but I didn't. I actually hated it. And I talked about it a little bit on a live video today. I hated it. I hated the people that I was under. I loved my coworkers, not so much other people there. And the hours were bad. I remember we went home one Christmas. We drove home Christmas the day before Christmas Eve, and we drove home Christmas Day because I had to be back to work on Christmas Eve to deal with everybody's returns. I'm like, well, I'm glad people get to spend the day with their family, and I'm driving home on Christmas Day. And I just decided that wasn't the life for me. It's not what I wanted for my husband and I. We had to plan our weekends. I got one weekend off a month. I worked almost every single night closing because when you're the new manager, guess who gets to close all the time? Yours truly. But I am a type of person that if you don't love what you do, change it. Life is way too short to be doing something that you hate every single day. I've always stuck to that philosophy. It may not work for some people, but if I don't like what I'm going to do, I'm going to quit a job because that's just the type of person that I am. And I think it comes back from like just my past and the struggles and losing loved ones and basically doing this on my own since the age of 17. But life is too short, and I've seen that too many times. I've lost too many family members too young. I've lost too many friends way too young. And growing up, I suffered from severe depression and cutting and suicide tendencies. And so for me, it's just life's too short to hate what you do. And I decided I hate what I did, and I made a change, and I finally quit my job to do Beachbody full time. Which was like super scary. And I think I'm the only coach on the team that does this full time, which is totally okay because a lot of you are working towards that. I'm super excited. But that was a big leap. That was a big leap of faith. But before I even became a Beachbody coach, I actually lost 50 pounds with the programs. I'm like all over the place because I didn't do notes, so I apologize, guys. But I lost 50 pounds with the programs. I lost 40 pounds with TurboFire in 90 days. I went from a size 18 to a size 10, and I went from 200 pounds to 40 pounds below that. So 160. I can't do math in my head. And then I lost another 10, and my coach kept nagging me. She's like, become a coach. And I'm like, yeah, nope, I don't have time for that. I don't have time for that. We've all heard that excuse. I don't have time to become a coach. We've all heard it. We've all probably said it to ourselves that we don't have time to become a coach. And I didn't. And so I don't know what made me sign up, but I remember she came to me one day and she goes, listen, you're sending customers to me left and right. You could be making money. You have phenomenal results. Like, why aren't you a coach? And I was like, and we were in the midst of getting married. I was like, listen, like, it's not in the cards right now. She's like, how about I pay your $40 sign-up fee? I was like, well, if I don't have to pay for anything, deal. She didn't get Success Club points from me. She didn't get commission from me. She had nothing from me. I don't even think I ordered Shakeology in the first 30 days for her to get a Success Club point from me. But she just believed in me so much that she put the faith in me. She's like, listen, I'm going to pay your $40 and you're going to become a coach. And I was like, we'll give it 30 days. We'll see what happens. But I'm also the type of person that if I'm going to do something, I'm going to go all in. And I went all in. And that's how I've been for the most part ever since I've become a coach. Hit Emerald, hit Diamond. I hit it really fast. But like life happens, guys, when we moved to Rochester, my business got put on the back burner. So I have been in the spot of rebuilding my business twice now. Back in 2014 and right now. It's not easy, and that's why I wanted to come on and talk to you guys tonight, because I can share these struggles with you because I've been there. I'm there right now in the trenches, and I'm seeing coaches quit left and right because it's becoming hard. It's becoming too much work. It's not easy anymore, so it's easier to quit than it is to keep fighting. And again, that's not my philosophy. If you love what you do, you got to fight for it. If you don't love what you do, here's the cancellation form. You're more than welcome to go on your way. But it was hard once I moved to Rochester, and I'm sure any of you guys can relate. When you're in a new scenario and a new job and a new atmosphere, whether you're moving or you're graduating or you just got married, it kind of throws you for a whirlwind, tailspin. We'll go with either of those words. And it was a hard adjustment. I went from having a solid business, hitting Success Club every single month, to being a solid diamond. I think I had 2 active coaches underneath me. I think Jasmine's the only one that's on here that's been with me through both of those. Maybe I could be wrong. I'd have to look in my coach online office. But I remember I went to my upline coach and I'm like, look, peace out. Like, I can't do this. Like, I thought I loved retail life and I thought that was my passion. And I thought that's what I was going to do the rest of my life. And she was like, just hold on. Just take a breather. Like, let's just see how things go. And I was like, fine, I'll give you 2 more months, but probably this, I'm jumping ship. Like, I just don't have time for this. And that was always my thing. I don't have time, but I always made the time to make it happen. I always made the time. So that's why when somebody's like, I don't have time to work the business, I'm like, listen, yo, when I became a coach, I was getting married. I was finishing my bachelor's degree with 6 classes. I was commuting 2 hours, 5 days a week, working 40 plus hours and doing a 20-hour internship in all 1 week. And I still made this business work. And I don't know where the shift happened, but I decided in February of 2014 that I had to make this happen. And I had surgery. I have PCOS and I have endometriosis, and I had to have surgery for my endometriosis to like clean it all out and all that fun stuff in your insides. And I remember just being on bed rest, and I had to stay an extra week because I was just stressed. And my phone was going off constantly. It was work. They're like, what can we do? Well, we need to do this and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, y'all, I am on bed rest. Like, I am not even in the building. I cannot help you right now. And I decided right then and there that it was time to either decide to fight for my business or give up and quit. I had to make that decision right then and there. And in that moment, I chose to fight for my business. I chose to fight for my goals, to fight for my why, to fight for what I believed this business could do for me. And that's exactly what I did. And I quit my job 7 months later. And the goal was to actually do it a year and 7 months, but I did it 7 months later because my why was so much stronger than all the excuses that I was using prior to that moment, that I don't have time to work out, or I'm too busy, or work was too crazy. Like, I found 30 minutes a day. I found an hour a day. I made it happen. And that feeling, I remember walking in, I was like, yo, I quit. They're like, what do you mean you quit? And I was like, yeah, quit. I'm like, I'm out. And I remember them just looking at me like I had like 5 heads, and family members probably thinking like, this girl's insane. But I knew that I could do it. And it's been a tough road since then, guys. Like, anytime you make a leap of faith and you go to do something new, it's going to be tough, even when you're doing something that you already love. And I remember making that transition. I'm like, what do I do now? Like, I don't have my 8 to 4, 3 to 11, whatever shift I had that day. And I had to like come up with a new way to kind of like manage my time. And I'm sure of any of you that have ever had to like be home for a week off of work or whatnot, you're like, you probably go stir crazy. And that's what I did in the beginning. I went stir crazy. I felt like I had to be on Facebook 24/7 and messaging people. But I came up with a system and I made it work for me. And that's what got me through so many years. But I want to fast forward to this year, because I want to talk about this year, because this year, if I can stay in the business, if I can keep going, there's no reason why other people can't keep moving. If this is their passion, if this is what they believe in, if this is what they want to do to create their why, to create their goals, to create their dreams and make them happen. I was a top coach in 2014. I was a top coach in 2015. I thought we secured being a top coach team again in 2016. And I remember I waited for that phone call. I think it was like, I don't know, January 7th. Waited for that premier phone call saying like we were a premier team. And I remember my corporate person, he messaged me. He's like, you're not on my list. I'm like, what do you mean I'm not on your list? It's like, yeah, you're not on the list. You didn't hit premier this year. And because I missed one little fine print detail, I didn't lock that title in. And that was gut-wrenching for me. That was tough. And I can't remember who saw me cry through that day. It's probably either Emily or Jasmine. And I bawled. I bawled for a good day. I felt like a failure. I felt like I failed the team. I felt like I let us down because we weren't a top team. And most of all, I felt like I failed myself. I set a lot of high goals for myself in this business, which I think is totally okay. Some people do, some people don't. And I felt like I had failed every goal that I had set in 2016. And I'm pretty sure I posted about this in the team page. I missed every single goal that I set for myself in 2016. Every single goal. And that's a tough pill to swallow, especially when you do this full time. And for me, you guys may not see a lot of behind the scenes, but I put a lot of blood, sweat, and time into the business, into doing things for the team and whatnot. And I just was like, how the hell did I fail and not meet a single goal this year? And it really made me question myself, question who I was, question the type of coach I was, question the type of leader that I was. But I knew that I had to keep pushing forward, and that's exactly what I did. And then come February, surprise, we're pregnant. And anybody that's been a coach while they're pregnant, I give you props because it's not easy. I give major props to Emily and Katrina, who have Emily worked out her entire pregnancy, I'm pretty sure. Katrina keeps pushing. I was sick my entire first 16 weeks. I did not work out for the first 14 weeks of my pregnancy. And when you're a health and fitness coach and you're not working out, let me tell you, it's really hard to work the business. So if you guys are wondering why your business isn't working and you're not working out, that's probably why, because it's tough. And it really made it difficult. And Emily's heard it, Jasmine's heard it, other Jasmine's heard it. But there were months I literally thought, this is it. Like, I have to quit. Like, I can't do this anymore. There are months that I struggled to hit Success Club. My income has dropped significantly, which is really stressful when you're having a baby. The team has dropped significantly, and it just made me question a lot of things. And I was like, I just don't know how this is going to work anymore. Like, I don't know how I can make this happen, build a business from the bottom up all over again while trying to raise a human and not be stressed out all the time. And it was just a gut-wrenching moment. And April by far was the worst month I've ever had in this business. And I'm sharing this with you guys because I think it's important for you guys to know that I fail. I fail a lot. I have moments where I want to send in my cancellation form. I'm not just this person on this pedestal who's made this happen and who's hit all these big goals, because I've missed pretty much almost every goal in this business in the last couple of years. But April was by far the worst month for me. And I'll give you guys a little background. Last April, I made roughly $7,000. This past April, I made $1,300. That's tough. That's tough when this is your full-time job and your husband also does this with you. It's very tough. I went from having Success Club 4 by the 8th of the month to having Success Club 0 by the 25th of the month. I got hit with 5 fraud returns last year, with each order having 2 bags of Shakeology. You do the math on the commission and the volume that was taken away from you, and that's tough. Every business center, I have 5 of them, they all lost rank. Every single one of them. And I remember I messaged Emily and said, Success Club is not happening this month. And this last month was my 42nd month hitting Success Club, I think, maybe 41. I don't know. I said, it's not happening. There is no way I can dig myself out of having SC4 to now having SC0 to finding 3 more people to help when I'm not even working out and not even drinking Shakeology right now. And I remember Emily gives me her little pep talk, just like I would give to you guys. And I'm like rolling my eyes. I'm like, Emily, you're doing the same crap I do to you, but thank you. I appreciate it. Somehow I pulled it out last month, and I ended the month at Success Club 8. I don't know how. I have no idea how. I hustled really, really hard. And I'm not giving you guys tips on the business, but it just goes to show if you want to hit your goal. And for me, Success Club's a non-negotiable because I refuse to miss it after so many months in a row, or years, I guess in this case. I made it happen, and I hustled really, really hard. And when that backpack comes in the mail, you better believe I am going to jump up and down and talk about that, because it's not just a backpack for me. It symbolizes the month that I decided I'm not giving up. I'm going to keep going, and I'm going to keep pushing, because this is what I love to do. Beachbody has not only opened financial doors for my husband and I, we have paid off all of my student loans. We have no debt besides the last of his student loans in the house. We have no credit card debt. We have no car debt. We have no debt whatsoever. Like I said, minus the house and the last of his student loans. I have lost 50 pounds and then 20 before my pregnancy. And I solely believe that if it wasn't for core de force and losing that 20 pounds, I would not be pregnant right now after trying for nearly 2 years and being on fertility and having procedures done. We've traveled. I've accomplished so much. And for me, I wasn't ready to give that up. I wasn't going to give that up because I had one bad month in the business. And this month, it's been so much better. Am I making as much as I made last year? No, because that's not going to happen overnight. That comes from rebuilding. That comes from finding new blood. It comes from finding people just like the six of you that are on this call that are listening to me talk about this. It's finding new people like you that want this hard, that want this so bad that they will give up an hour of their night on a Wednesday when season finales are on to be on a team call with me. And just basically, guys, the one thing I want to let you guys know is this isn't going to happen overnight, guys. 4.5 years I've been in this business. 4.5. I should be like a freaking 20-star diamond by now. And I'm not even a star diamond currently ranked right now. I have lost every single diamond in this business minus Emily and Lindsay Sessions. But it happens. You're going to fail. You're going to have hard months. You're going to have returns. I think last month, Beachbody just decided to curse our team because Jasmine ran into issues with Success Club points. Emily ran into issues with Success Club points. Breezy ran into issues. But if you let those moments those returns, those fraud orders, those negative success club points, if you let those moments dictate how you're going to move forward in your business, guys, your why is not strong enough. The reason that I am still doing this is no longer to be out of debt. It's so that my husband can stay home and see all the milestones that our baby is going to have come October and on. It's so that neither one of us have to go get a job, because that was a real reality a couple months ago, that Bill's going to have to go get a job because things aren't doing so good with Beachbody right now. And that's a hard pill to swallow. And again, it makes you feel like a failure when you're both doing this full time. But that's why I'm pushing. That's why I've started 200 conversations this month. That's why I've invited like a freaking monster. That's why I'm having daily conversations. That's why I'm hustling every single day, because my why is so strong that I refuse to let a couple hard months in this business stop me from going after what I want. So if you take anything from this, and I won't take up too much more of your time of your call, not to mention it is bloody hot in this house. And then I'll open up to any questions you guys have or anything. You got to keep moving forward. If you've let it's too hard, I've run out of my warm market, I'm hearing chirps? No. Chirps? No. I don't know. Emily, yeah, quit giving me that look. If I'm hearing silence, I don't know. Whatever, guys, I don't do words, okay? Words are not my strong suit in life. But if you're not hearing from people, if you're getting no's, if you have quit posting your workouts, you know who I'm talking to on this call because you've quit tagging me, a couple of you. It's time to jump back into it. It's time to reignite that fire. Why did you join? What have you gained financially? And yeah, you may not have paid off student loans. You may not have paid off all these massive goals, but anything that is big to you, that's worth praising about. Not praising. That's worth, why are words my hardest thing in life? That's worth shouting from the rooftops for. We'll go with that. If you can afford to pay your mortgage or your rent every single month because of Beachbody, that is something that is exciting. And you need to be excited about that. And if you've lost your passion for this business, if you've lost your why, but you're still a coach, why are you still here? There's got to be a reason you haven't hit your cancellation form and you're still paying your $17 a month. You're still getting your Shaco. You're still doing your workouts. And most of the time, when we start to lose our drive in this business, it's because we've lost perspective of our why. We've lost perspective of why we became a coach, and we're letting those negative emotions, those excuses get in our way, and you got to get rid of those, guys. You got to let them out of your head and be like, you know what? Enough's enough. My why is worth fighting for, and I'm going to make it happen no matter what. So that's what I wanted to share with you guys. Crickets. Thank you, Jasmine. Crickets. Chirps. Where did I get chirps from? So that's where I'm at. And I would like to say that this month is better. It is. I'm at Success Club 9. And we're only halfway through the month. I will hit SC20 by the end of the month. I'm going to make it happen. But just keep pushing, guys. Why is it so hot in here? If you want this, you got to fight for it. It's not going to happen if you're just kind of dabbling here and there. You got to fight for it. You got to show up every single day, no matter what, no excuses. Like I said, I don't know if you guys were listening to the beginning before I recorded, this is a busy month for me a busy week for me for our other business. And Beachbody's had to go on the back burner a little bit this week because when you have two businesses, you have to focus. Don't worry if anybody from compliance is listening to my recording. It is not another MLM. Thank you very much. But this week, I had to focus on that. But just because I had to focus on that business doesn't mean I forget about my follow-ups and I forget about my invites and I forget about my challengers and the people that want to order. You got to make time. Even if it's 15 to 30 minutes a day, you got to make the time. So that's what I have for you guys. Do you guys have any questions? Anything you want me to add? Anything in general? You have 15 minutes with me. And if you all just stare at me, I will log off.
No, I'm glad you shared that. Because I know sometimes it's hard to, I don't want to say hard to share, but sometimes we don't see the in the trenches. You know what I mean? Like it just, from outside it can look easy. for people. Like we look at other people's business and it's like, oh, it's just so easy for them, but we don't see the hard work and the hustle that people put in. So it's nice to know that, you know, you're hustling with the rest of us.
And Emily was the biggest person that Emily think last month. She was like, you need to share this with the team. You need to share that you're in the trenches. Because I agree. For the longest time, I wouldn't share when I'm in the trenches because I feel like I have to be the person that's at the top showing you guys and leading by example. But I think it's just as important to know that I am in the trenches just as bad as you guys are. And like I said, last month was bad. It was really bad. It was really, really bad. But I got through it. So thank you, Emily. Thank you for sharing that or saying that. These retainers.
I was laughing at your chirps because I didn't know what the word was either that you were trying to get there. And then when Jasmine said crickets, then I was like, I laughed because I was like,
it must be, I'm going to hit end to record, not end me.